So, as you can tell from my attire today, well, I mean, if you're watching on our live stream on KYCA.info or on KYCA Facebook page, you can tell that I am definitely amped up for the Super Bowl, and you can also tell who I am rooting for. And for those of you who are listening to us on the radio side at 1490 AM and 103.5 FM, just so you know, I am wearing my Philadelphia Eagles garb. Well, actually, for those who know me well, this comes as no surprise. So, as you can tell, definitely looking forward to this one. I mean, it has all the makings of being a good game, but we'll see, because I can't tell you how many times I've said, oh, this is going to be a great game, and it turns out to be completely one-sided. I even got put on the spot yesterday when I was over at Prescott High School for the Legler Cup with the local wrestling teams, and Badger football coach Cody Collette came up, asked me what I thought the final score of the game was going to be. Now, normally, I never do that because I'm probably going to be way off on it anyway. But this time, I relented, and I told Coach Collette that the score of the Super Bowl will be Eagles 30, Chiefs 21. And to be honest, I just pulled that score out of my you-know-where. But Coach Collette said that was actually a legit prediction. So we'll see. I mean, at least no one asked me if the Eagles and Chiefs would cover the spread. I'll be honest with you, folks. I've never understood the whole spread thing, probably because it's like a math thing, and I'm really, really bad at math. Also, I just don't care. You know, to me, the spread is meaningless. All I care about is who wins, who loses, whether it's by 1 point, whether it's by 20 points. A win is a win is a win. So who cares what the spread is? So Sunday, February 12th, big game right here in our great state of Arizona, down in Glendale. And I hope no one out there has any non-Super Bowl related reasons to go to Glendale that day, because I imagine traffic is going to be nutso. In fact, if anyone from the Tri-City area is going to the Super Bowl, you know, if anyone has ponied up the $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, $15,000, whatever it is for a Super Bowl ticket. If anyone's ponied that up, if anyone from the Tri-City area is heading down to the Super Bowl for the big game, give us a call here at 928-541-1016. Again, 928-541-1016. Let us know if you're going. Let us know how you scored Super Bowl tickets. I think that'd be a cool story to tell. Also, do not forget, on our show next Saturday, it's our annual Tri-City Sports Roundup tradition, where we have local athletes from Prescott, Bradshaw Mountain, Chino Valley, Yavapai College, and Embry-Riddle give their Super Bowl picks. And I can tell you, it has been pretty even Steven among our high school and college athletes between the city of cheesesteaks and the city of barbecue. So again, that's on the show next Saturday. So tune into that. Also, getting back to the Legler Cup I mentioned before, got to send out congratulations to the Bradshaw Mountain wrestling team as they won the Legler Cup yesterday. Meanwhile, we've got big doings coming up sports-wise here on KYCA. The 4A basketball state tournament begins this week. Actually, also the Open Division state tournament begins as well. So Prescott and Bradshaw Mountain boys, they are in the mix. Again, looks like they will be in the Open Division, and that is going to be a state tournament which consists of teams from the 4A, 5A, and 6A conferences, all thrown into the same pot, mixed together, and we'll see what comes out of it. So that begins on Wednesday. But even if Prescott and or Bradshaw Mountain lose in the first round, they will continue in the playoffs in the regular 4A conference state tournament. Now, here's how this is going to work. And I got this information straight off the AIA website. So, Open Division. The top 8 teams from the 4A, 5A, and 6A conferences, based on the overall AIA rankings, powered by Max Preps, will receive a bid. Additionally, the next 8 highest ranked teams from the 4A to 6A conferences combined will receive a bid. The state tournament bracket will be seeded according to individual AIA ranking of the 32 teams. The state tournament will consist of 5 rounds and will be single elimination. Now, for the 4A conference state tournament, here's how that's going to work. After qualifying teams are added to the Open Division State Tournament bracket, the next 16 highest-ranked teams will make up the conference play-in bracket. The winners of the play-in games, along with any team losing in the first 2 rounds of the Open Division bracket, will advance to its respective conference tournament. Should there be less than 8 schools coming back from the Open Division in their respective conference tournaments, the highest seeded losing teams in the conference play-in games will advance to the conference tournament to create a 16-team bracket. The conference tournament brackets will be seeded according to the overall AIA rankings powered by Max Preps. However, any conference play-in losing teams brought back into the conference tournament will be seeded as the lowest seeds on the bracket. Initial round, if necessary, games are possible. The state tournaments will consist of 4 or 5 rounds and be single elimination. You know, I feel like we need Rick Moranis as Dark Helmet from Spaceballs to come in and just go, everybody got that? I don't know if I totally have that. You know what? Whatever the case is, the brackets will be coming out later today, and KYCA will let you know what our coverage is going to be like involving Prescott and or Bradshaw Mountain. So good luck to the Badgers, good luck to the Bears as they dive into the postseason after having terrific regular seasons. Oh, by the way, our producer here, CJ, put up a couple of short videos from our live stream of Thursday's Prescott boys basketball game versus Coronado. You can find that on our YouTube channel, KYCA Digital, along with episodes of my Rust Rants podcast. You can also check out highlights of that game and listen to my game recap on kyca.info by clicking on the news link. Or you can watch a replay of the entire game between Prescott and Coronado on KYCA's Facebook page or our Vimeo page. So we've got you covered all over the place, folks. All right, break time here in the Roundup. When we come back, believe it or not, folks, coming up on Tuesday, man, oh man, like 4 days away, 3 days away, something like that. I don't know. I stink at math, I told you. Yavapai College Softball begins its 2023 season, and we have 2 members of the team with us today. We've got Darby Kramp. We've got Meghan Kelly. Not that Meghan Kelly, you know, the one on TV. Yeah, they're laughing right now. I'm sure that's not the first time Megan's heard that joke. Anyway, Darby Kramp, Meghan Kelly on the show. We were supposed to have Coach Callie Pugh on here. Unfortunately, she's under the weather today. Couldn't make up, but again, we've got 2 of her players here. So we'll be talking about how they put together what's basically almost a brand new Yavapai College softball team. Look ahead to their season. That's coming up here on the show, folks. Thanks for joining us here on a Saturday morning, and we will take a break, and we'll be back right after this. And we are back here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup, folks. John Rust with you here on a Saturday morning. And hey, like I said, just a few days away, the Yavapai College softball team begins its 2023 season. And of course, we have a new coach on there with Callie Pugh. And pretty much it's going to be an entirely new roster. Quite a bit of upheaval in the Yavapai College softball world. Many players who last year won the region playoffs, they're off. They're off elsewhere. Of course, Coach Doug Eastman and his assistant coach Erica Bennett now down at Texas Kingsville. So best of luck to them. I think they get their season going as well. So basically, kind of borrowing from the 1970s X-Men comics when they, revived the whole comic line, brought in a whole bunch of new characters like Storm and Nightcrawler and Colossus, and they were dubbed the all-new, all-different X-Men. Well, I think we can dub them the all-new, all-different Yavapai College softball team. And in the studio with me today, I have 2 members of that team. I have Darby Kramp. I have Meghan Kelly. So, ladies, thank you very much for joining us here this morning.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us, yeah.
Okay, so Darby, let's start with you. Like I said, this is basically, it almost looks like we're starting the program from scratch. I think you said there's only 1 player from last year's roster back. So talk about what it has been like. for a team that was basically, the bulk of it was put together during the break between semesters. So what's it been like trying to get everyone on the same page and trying to form a cohesive team after you've all been together for maybe just a few weeks?
Yeah, the first few weeks, I feel like everyone was just kind of in their own bubble because no one really knew anyone at the time. But definitely over this last 2 weeks, I feel like we have all gotten really close to each other, and practices have begun to actually work as a normal team. But I think that everyone works well together, and I think we're going to communicate well, and I think it's going to be a fun season.
So, Meghan, let's get to you, because you actually came in from community college in Kansas, Garden City, home of the Bronc Busters. Pretty cool mascot name, I got to admit there. So, first off, what made you decide to kind of switch in midstream from Garden City to Yavapai?
Well, I won't get into the details, but
okay.
Yeah. But basically, there was miscommunication with me and my coach about what I wanted in the future, and the ultimate decision was to have me be released from the team, and then me look for a different team. And this was a week before Thanksgiving, so I had a week in my mind to find a new team, and that way I could transfer in for the spring semester. Otherwise, I would just be going to college like a normal student.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize. I think most of them think that, hey, someone signs at the college, they're going to go to college and they're going to play there. But, this isn't certainly unique to you. I'm sure a lot of other athletes go through that where, they sign on the dotted line, they get to their school, and then you become a victim of circumstance, in the famous words of Curly Howard. So for now that you've gone through this, for athletes who might be in a similar boat, what advice would you have for them if they find themselves in a similar situation to yours?
You just have to advocate for yourself. The second that you know that you're no longer going to be on that team, you have to start looking for a different team. You have to start reaching out to different coaches, or you just have to start using the networks that you have in order to find a new team to play with.
Mm-hmm. So, Darby, I would imagine the recruiting process was a little simpler for you, because I think you were part of that batch of what started out as just a 4-person roster on Yavapai. So, well, first, what made you decide to come to Yavapai, knowing that there were certain circumstances involving the team where you have a new coach who basically has to put together an entirely new roster?
Yeah, well, I was actually recruited by Doug and Erica, so I was one of the 4 on the roster. So the very first 4 people were recruited by Doug and Erica. But originally, the reason I chose to come to Yavapai was obviously the school record, and obviously they're a very good program, very strong. They had connections with other schools. But I also enjoyed the area of Prescott. I liked the calmness and the home feeling, and it kind of just reminded me of Colorado too, which is where I'm from. But it was hard at first with just 4 people, because you couldn't really do all that much. Mm-hmm. And then when we got up to 8, it was okay, we're cruising now. We're at 8 people. We can get a little bit more stuff done, actually do some drills because we have more bodies on the field. And then, back down to 6, and then we went back up to 12 at the semester. But yeah, chilling now.
Yeah. And that was the other thing, because normally during the fall, both Yavapai baseball and softball do fall ball, where they basically do scrimmages, exhibition games, and all that, just to kind of see, hey, who works in what position. Hey, now we can get some actual game experience with these players, a lot of them coming right up from the high school ranks. Mm-hmm. You didn't have that luxury because, again, you only had, 4 to 6 people on the team or whatever. So, how much... So what was that like, not being able to have that fall ball and kind of get used to everyone on the field?
Well, on the field, it was just kind of hard to do anything in general, just because we didn't have a lot of bodies. But I think it would have helped us tremendously if we were able to get in any fall ball scrimmage, which unfortunately we weren't because of the amount of people that we had. But I think regardless, I think we're going to perform well this year. Mm-hmm.
And, of course, another thing that has been a drawback for Yavapai, Meghan, is, this has been a pretty active winter. I mean, thankfully, we haven't gotten hit with, some of the major snowstorms we've had here the last few years, but we've still gotten quite a bit of rain, quite a bit of snow. And, for a softball field where the entire infield is made up of dirt, precipitation doesn't really help that. So, Meghan, what has it been like, trying to get any kind of practice in when your field basically looks like a small patch from the Battle of Passchendaele in World War I?
Well, for the first week, we hardly went on the field. We just stayed indoors at the weight room and in the gym. Since we have a whole new team, I think the coaches thought we need to put a whole semester's worth of conditioning into 2 weeks. And so that's basically what we did. We were in the gym. We were in the weight room for like 2 hours every single day, just doing that. But once we were able to get on the field, obviously it wasn't exactly what we wanted. So we either stayed in the outfield where there was like not as much slipperiness, I guess, and we would just throw, we wouldn't do anything. And then once we were able to get onto the fields over in Prescott Valley, that's whenever we really were able to do drills on the dirt. But I can't really say much. I'm not an infielder, but Darby can say that if she wants.
Yeah, it definitely felt good to just get on the field and just be in the dirt rather than just, being in the weight room or being just on the grass and throwing. But it was definitely hard at first because I feel like everyone was like, okay, like, how do we field a ground ball again, because we haven't been out in the field for that long. But then getting back onto our field, yesterday was the first day? Or 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
2 days ago. 2 days ago was the first day we were able to get back onto our field, which was nice because then we didn't have to drive like 25 minutes to go practice off campus. And it felt good, though. I feel like just being on our own field is just pretty good.
Yeah. So, and again, kind of like Meghan was saying that, when you can't get on the field, you have to practice in the gym. So, Darby, volleyball and basketball, no problem for them practicing in the gym because that's where they play. For softball, what exactly can you guys do practicing an outdoor sport in a gymnasium?
Well, let's see. So before this semester, we actually had to practice in the gym like once because it was raining really bad and it was the only spot that was open that we could practice in. So we were hitting wiffle balls. Oh, we played a wiffle ball game against women's basketball, and we actually lost really bad.
Really bad.
Like 16-2, 4? I don't know. It was
like
bad.
That.
We got, run rolled. But, so indoors, the past 2-3 weeks when we go into, the actual gym, we've been just doing conditioning and running and sprints and stuff like that. And then occasionally, last semester, we would have the nets, and we'd hit just into them. Off the tee and stuff in our tennis shoes, obviously no cleats on the gym floor. And then when we're in the weight room, we alternate between full body, abs, upper body, lower body.
So, well, first off, I just got to say, Meghan, you play a wiffle ball tournament against the women's basketball team, you lose 16-2. Did you ladies go off somewhere and just hang your head in shame for about an hour or so after that?
I think we did right after, but once I started realizing that the game wasn't going as how I thought, I was just like, you know what, it doesn't matter. It's a wiffle game. We're just here to have fun.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think we were trying too hard, which is why.
Yeah.
We were swinging for the fences, and it's it's like a 2-ounce bat. You can't do that. But women's basketball, they were like, let's just do this for fun.
And they just kept hitting those ground balls, and it's so hard to get the wiffle ball and throw it to first. But I will say, I think that if we were actually playing real softball, I think we would have definitely creamed them.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, folks, joining me on the show this morning, I have Darby Kramp, I have Meghan Kelly, both from the Yavapai College softball team as we get ready for their 2023 season, which begins on Tuesday. They will be on the road. They will be taking on Pima College. However, you will be able to see Yavapai softball in their home opener, and I believe that is going to be on February 18th, and they will be taking on one of the big rivals for Yavapai. That will be Arizona Western, and man, oh man, Yavapai and Arizona Western, they have definitely had some great tilts over the years, including in the postseason. Well, folks, we're coming up to a break here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. However, as always, it's time to see who shined over the past 7 days as we present the Tri-City Sports Roundup 3 Stars of the Week. Starting with the ladies, our number 3 star is Julia Giese of the Prescott soccer team. She registered 2 goals and 2 assists in the Lady Badgers' 8-0 rout of Mingus on Thursday. The number 2 star is Danny McCann of the Mare basketball team. She put up 23 points in the Lady Cats' 48-36 loss to Baghdad Monday. And our number 1 star of the week is Bella Apt of the Prescott basketball team. She registered 14 points, 17 rebounds, and 7 steals. Man, oh man, close to a triple-double there in the Lady Badgers' 49-45 loss to Mingus on Wednesday. Now for the guys, our number 3 star is Mason Hunt of the Bradshaw Mountain basketball team. The Huntsman registered 23 points in the Bears' 58-53 triumph over Flagstaff Friday. The number 2 star is Cardell Bailey of the Yavapai College basketball team. He posted 24 points in the Rough Riders' 70-48 triumph over Central Arizona Wednesday. And our number 1 star of the week is Uriah Tennett of the Prescott basketball team. He recorded 24 points in the Badgers' 79-34 rout of Flagstaff Monday. Then on Wednesday, Tennett notched 23 points in Prescott's 67-40 shellacking of Mingus. So congratulations to all of our 3 stars of the week, and I'm sure in the coming weeks we'll probably have some members of the Yavapai College softball team on our 3 stars of the week segment. Perhaps one will be Darby Kramp, perhaps one will be Meghan Kelly. We'll see. Of course, if they go 0 for 4 in the game, they're not going to get on there. So, sorry, had to get that little zinger in there, ladies. All right, folks, break time here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. We'll be back with more with Darby Kramp and Meghan Kelly of the Yavapai College softball team right after this. Welcome back to the Tri-City Sports Roundup. John Rust with you here. Joining me in the studio today, I have Darby Kramp and Meghan Kelly from the Yavapai College softball team. And as always, when we have athletes in the studio, well, we've got to find out stuff about their teammates. And I know they haven't been together as long as most teammates, but hopefully over these past few weeks, they've learned something about the people they're playing with. Hopefully, because they're going to be going into battle pretty soon. You want to know, everything you can about the people around you. So anyway, Darby, let's start with you.
Okay.
Who on Yavapai College softball is the best dressed player on the team? Who's the team fashion plate?
I'm going to say my friend Meghan right here, actually, because she's one of the only ones when we actually have classes on Monday, Wednesdays. Like, she most of the time dresses with, like, a good pair of jeans and a T-shirt, Some of us, like me, I just roll out of bed with, like, sweatpants and sweatshirt and call it good and just go right to class.
Yeah, because you were telling me before the show started that, you really don't have time to dress up because usually it's like class and then you got to go right to softball. So what's the point of dressing up nice,
Yeah,
huh?
exactly. I mean, like, you go to class, like, I have a 9:30, Meghan has an 8, a 9:30, and a, what's your next class? 11. And it's like most of the time we have practice at 1. Her class doesn't get out till 12:15. She got 45 minutes to get to practice, and then at practice, and then after practice, you just don't have time. You got to do homework. And that's about it.
All right, so Meghan, who is the funniest player on Yavapai? Who's just the player that just keeps you all in stitches?
No doubt, definitely Sydney.
Yeah.
100%. I can't even be like 0.2 seconds around her and I'm already like on the floor laughing my butt off. Like, she's just so funny.
She'll just like look at you and you'll just like laugh. Like, there's like not a thought going on up there either. And you're just like it's so funny and just
she just has an aura about her that's just like, you're so funny.
Yes, 100%.
Sounds like I'm going to be getting some good sound bites out of her as the season goes on. Cool. All right. So, so Darby, on the opposite end, who is probably the most serious player on Yavapai?
We don't really have like someone that's like super serious, doesn't really laugh all that much, but when we're like practicing and stuff and doing softball, I'm gonna say Genevieve Espinoza, because sometimes like she'll just look at you and there's like not a smile on her face and you're like, okay, what did I do wrong? Now I gotta go go fix it or something. But I love Jen. She's my favorite. Yeah.
All right. So Meghan, who on Yavapai is probably the most talkative player on the team?
Amanda. She has like no filter, so whenever she thinks, she just says, and it's so like if you pair her with Sydney, they will not stop talking.
Yeah.
But it's fine because they're both so funny, they're both hilarious, but Amanda is very aware of what she says, and you just go with it.
So basically, if I like do a post game interview with her, it could be going on for 5 minutes. I'm just going to stand there and go, I only need like about an 8 to 10 seconds.
Yes,
by,
100%.
She will tell you anything you need to know in detail, and she will just keep going.
Yeah, she'll give you a full game recap of every pitch, and everything that has happened. Yeah.
Now, I only have a minute to do the game recap.
Yeah.
I don't have time for this stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. So Darby, on the opposite end, who is probably the quietest player on Yavapai?
Abby, probably one of our new pitcher. She's pretty quiet. Like you can go up and talk to her and she'll talk to you, but like it's like her voice is super soft. Like she doesn't really raise her voice at all when she talks, and she's just super mellow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Meghan, who on Yavapai can eat the most in one sitting? Like if you go up to Golden Corral, they're just going to clean out the whole place.
I have to say Amanda, but I have to say it's Amanda with Sydney.
Yeah.
They instigate each other, but Amanda definitely needs to get all her macros in. So she's there, she's eating with a purpose, and Sydney's just there with her.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's like a tag team.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
I think this is the first time I've ever had that kind of answer. It's not one person, it's a tag team that goes after the buffet.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, I'll tell you what, man. If anyone's having a Super Bowl party over at Yavapai, I guess watch out for those two, because they're going to clean out all the eats.
Yes.
Oh, man. So, well, let's get to know our guests here a little bit more. So Darby, you are originally from Littleton, Colorado, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, folks, Colorado, and I don't know if you're aware of this, Colorado, they've got a couple ranches up there, including one called Clearview, where there have been like a lot of weird happenings there, like UFO sightings, cryptids, paranormal phenomenon. I actually saw the Clearview one on an episode of Bedtime Stories on YouTube. I don't know if you've ever heard of any of that.
No, not really.
Okay, so you've stayed away from all the craziness there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were at Heritage High School, which is actually the school where one of the South Park's creators, Matt Stone, graduated from. I'm sure you've heard all the stories about that.
Yeah. Yep.
So again, while you were there, just talk about what your softball experiences was playing for Heritage.
Well, let's see. So starting off, let's go to freshman year. I made varsity as a freshman because there was only, I think, 14 girls that tried out, so it was very minimal. And no one got cut because we hardly had enough girls just to make a team in general. But freshman year, I did play a little bit, but my coach, he wasn't super fond of me. So when I would make mistakes in the field, I'd just get pulled from the game. And eventually, like towards the end of the season, I just didn't play at all regardless. And so freshman year just wasn't the best. But I still hit 2 home runs my freshman year, so I was still proud of that as a freshman. Sophomore year, I think that was my best year of high school ball just because I did really well at the plate, and I also got a new coach, so we were actually able to like talk and figure things out, and he'd help me get better just in the field and in general. And he was my same coach from sophomore, junior, and senior year, and he's really close. He actually coaches my little sister's club softball team, so he wants me to come and help with him over summer for that. But junior and senior year were good, and I enjoyed it. And junior and senior year, well, actually, no, it was just senior year. We actually got to go to regionals for the first time in like 12 years, which was super cool. And it was just a good experience.
So, and I want to get back to the whole thing about you and your coach from your freshman year, because I'm sure a lot of athletes go through that, where just sometimes, for whatever reason, the player and the coach kind of go together, like they say, water and oil, and sometimes that could lead an athlete to just giving up on the sport. Kind of a little personal aside here. I know when I was in middle school, I used to play the violin, and for whatever reason, like 7th grade, me and my violin teacher just did not get along, and I quit doing that. And I kind of look back saying it's kind of a shame that I gave up playing the violin just because I didn't like my my music instructor. And I'm sure a lot of players are like, I just want to quit because I don't like the coach. So you stuck it out though. So for players who are in that situation, what advice would you give to them?
I would just say it might be hard right now, just like you're like, oh, okay, like I don't know if I want to continue playing because the coach isn't giving me an opportunity to like prove myself. But you just have to continue to work and get better and better yourself for the future, just because you don't know what opportunities are going to arise. So
Okay. So, Meghan, you are from Houston, Texas, actually not far from where my cousin and her husband live in the Woodlands. And you went to Seven Lakes High School. I assume there were like 7 lakes around the high school.
It was like a combination of our neighborhoods, Seven Meadows and then Grand Lakes. So Seven
Gotcha.
Lakes.
So it wasn't like you had 7 lakes around
No.
the high school,
No.
yes. And of course, Seven Lakes High School, home to the Spartans. Yeah, I'm sure I'm not the first one who's ever said it like that. No, I didn't think so. So again, and I believe you also played. You were telling me during the break you played basketball there, and there was really an interesting reason why you kind of gave up basketball and went to softball. Tell us
Yes.
about that.
Okay, so I played basketball in high school from my freshman to junior year. And the reason why I stopped playing was because, one, I kind of fell out of love with the sport. But two, I played the same position as Justice Carlton, who is a top recruit in the nation as of right now. And, like, in her first 2 years of being here at the school, like, she broke almost the entire school's records, which has only been up for, like, 15 years. But still doing that her freshman and sophomore year, which one of them was during COVID. So the fact that she was able to do that was really spectacular. But I was really just like a dummy for her to, just have a body on. So I knew that the second that she came in, I was like, I'm not going to play. So I was like, you know what, that's okay. I don't really like the sport anymore. She's got better things to do, and I've got better things to do. So I put all my eggs in one basket, and I transferred from basketball to softball.
Okay. And speaking of multi-sport athletes, Darby, along with softball, while you were at Heritage High School in Littleton, you were also on the track and field team, right?
yes, yeah, I did shot put and discus for my freshman, sophomore, and junior year, and then senior year I didn't participate because I was still recovering from knee surgery.
Gotcha. So how'd you do in shot put and discus?
Discus my freshman year I did decent, and then shot put I didn't do well until really my junior year. That's when I actually got to go to state for it, and I ended up placing 12th in state in 5A. So I enjoyed it. I really liked the coach. I was really close with him, and I used to babysit his kids too.
Oh.
So yeah.
Cool. And I know one of the things I like to champion here is multi-sport athletes. And I know, Meghan, in your case for multi-sport, yeah, you had a circumstance there where you're playing behind a girl who, I think you said she has like 35 D1 offers or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, but for Darby, for you, just talk about how big that was to be a multi-sport athlete and to take a break from softball for a time, so that way you don't get burned out on the sport.
Well, just participating in a different sport, it allowed me to know more people, and I was actually able to like expand like my friend group kind of, I guess, in high school, just because I was able to I know the sprinters, I know the long distance people, I can actually say hi to them in the halls, and they know who I am, I know who they are. And but doing it as like a break from softball, it kept me with doing something other than just like softball and throwing and hitting and stuff like that. But I think it was just good because it takes your mind off of like the stress and pressure of like, okay, now after track season's done, I have to go right back into club softball, and then I got club practices and stuff like that. So
Right. And now, Meghan, looking through your bio there on the Yavapai, on the Rough Riders website, I actually, both you and Darby, you list one of your big hobbies as reading, which of course is someone who's published 21 books himself. I always love to hear athletes say one of their favorite hobbies is reading. So what are some of your favorite books to read?
Oh, God.
yeah, I know. It's like I got to think about the ones that I've read.
Well, I'm like getting back into reading just because like required reading in high school kind of made me stop for like a hot second. But I started reading books again, and I discovered this new author named Christina Lauren. She's a romance author.
I love her.
I love her books, and I literally just finished Love and Other Words.
I read that when I was in Mexico like 3 weeks ago.
It's so good. I felt like the ending was a little bit like predictable.
Yeah,
but I felt
but it
like
was
the
good.
whole like build up through the book was just fantastic. I really enjoyed it, and I have the On Honeymooners also by Christina Lauren.
I have
to
that
read
one
next.
too. Yeah, yeah. I agree with Meghan. She's one of my favorite authors too. Her writing is like super smooth, and the story's easy to follow, and it's like you don't get lost and confused during it.
Good.
So
Well, I mean, I can do love stories. I've written love stories in my books, but a straight up romance, probably not. Because, like, to me, I'd be like, as soon as I got to page 30, I'd be like, I need to have a monster eat someone, or I need to have something blow up.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I always say you can write a love story in any genre, but romance is strictly from beginning to end, feelings and, romantic time, if you know what I mean. Hey, I got to keep it clean here on the show, Oh man! So, well, also along with reading, Megan, you also list listening to music as one of your favorite hobbies.
Yes.
So, what kind of music do you like?
I mostly listen to R&B, specifically DPR Ian. I love his music. I love it all. I love his lyrics. And he recently went on tour, but I wasn't able to go, which is so upsetting, but that's okay.
I believe me, I know the feeling. There have been a lot of metal bands who've been on tour, and I'm like, I'd love to see them. Oh, but I can't. I got this thing going on. Darn
I got
it.
softball going on.
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah.
So Darby, another one of your favorite hobbies, you say, is walking your dogs.
Yeah. So I have, back in Colorado, I have 2 dogs, Peanut and Penny. We call them the double P's because they both start with P. And Penny's just sometimes not there when we go on walks, like mentally, like she just doesn't focus a lot. She'll just be like walking and then she'll forget she's on a leash and she'll be like, oh, like you're here too, like what are you doing here? But no, I like taking them for walks, especially because we have like a trail that's like right behind our house.
Okay.
I think that's like 4.5 miles as a loop, so usually we'll just go on that and do a loop and stop by the creek and stuff, and they'll play in the creek.
So what kind of dogs are they?
Penny is a black lab, but they call her a pocket black lab because she's like shorter than the average lab, but she's not like stubby, kind of. But and then Peanut, he's like a Catahoula Beagle mix, and a Catahoula is like a herding dog almost that has like the what is it called? The merle, I think. The black, gray, brown fur color. But he like looks like he has like the body of like a beagle, but like the coloring and like the face of a small lab, and then the coloring like black, gray, brown, whites, like every.
That is a heck of a mix right there.
Yeah, he's something. Yeah.
So any dogs at your home, Megan, or what?
No, I am petless, but it's a little bit different because my parents moved from Texas to here to Arizona.
Oh, okay. All right. And also, speaking of Arizona, it sounds like you're planning on staying here after you're done at Yavapai, because according to your bio, you want to go to ASU and major in sports marketing.
Yes, that is correct.
So how did you get involved? How did you get interested in wanting to make sports marketing your major?
Well, my dad he worked in sports media. Whenever we were back in Houston, for like a short period, he was actually the executive producer for the Astros.
Oh, really?
So I would sometimes go to the office with him. I would sit in the broadcasting room and I would just watch him do his work. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, it's so dark and the buttons are so bright. Like, who doesn't like that? And then eventually his company went under, and then he was journalist for the Houston Texans and the Astros on their page, and that company went under. But then that was whenever the Super Bowl came over to Houston, so he was able to get a job working for the Super Bowl. And then after that, he was just working Astros games as a producer or like a graphics designer for it. And he was working college events for track, baseball, soccer. Like, he was just in Houston working for sports. And obviously I saw that and I was like, oh my God, like, sports is all that I know. I kind of like that. And then whenever I went to Garden, I originally had my major as English and then realized, not really what I want to do. And so then I started talking with my dad about it, and I was like, sports is really good, and Phoenix is a growing market for sports marketing especially. So I was like, you know what, I can lean towards that. So I started with an Associates of Business here, and then I plan on doing sports marketing over at ASU.
Okay, so being from Houston, like your dad was involved with the Astros, now I have to ask, What are
Yes.
your thoughts?
Yes.
You probably know what's coming. Okay, what are your
The cheating
thoughts when you
scandal?
hear? What are your thoughts
The
when you hear
trash can?
everyone? Darby knows where I'm going with it.
Yeah.
What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on all that?
I honestly, it happened. You can't deny it. I can't say no, that didn't happen.
The
But
change-up
also,
is coming.
Curveball,
Yeah.
Like I just have to move past it. Like it happened, but also only Bregman's on the team from the original team that had the cheating scandal.
Mm-hmm.
But being in Kansas, for some reason, there are so many Dodger fans. So I feel like Dodger fans are just like jumping on the bandwagon.
They're just like
outside
worldwide
of
at this
California.
point, yeah.
So I heard a lot of it from them, but I was like, you know what, it doesn't matter. Like that was what,
2017?
Yeah.
I think it was 2017.
So
Around
6
there, yeah.
6 years ago. So I'm like, it doesn't really matter. Like it happened.
Old news.
Old news.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we're coming up to the end of the show, so I want to thank Darby, Kramp, and Meghan Kelly from the Yavapai College softball team for joining us here on the show. Ladies, thank you very much, and best of luck to you and the Lady Riders as you get set for your 2023 season. Of course, we'll be following Yavapai College softball right here on KYCA. Ladies, thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for
very
having
much.
us. Yeah.
All right, and again, folks, next Saturday on the show, we have our local athletes giving their Super Bowl picks. Will they be picking the Philadelphia Eagles or the Kansas City Chiefs? We'll find out next week, so stay with us till then. Also, check us out this coming week as we get set for state tournament action with Prescott and Bradshaw Mountain boys basketball. Folks, again, thanks for joining us here on the Tri-City Sports Roundup. We'll see you next time.